Hello everyone, my name is Daniela, and today I'll be talking about genetic modification and what it is. So, genetic modification can be a way to improve society or even the whole world itself. How many of you guys would like to change anything or would like for your future kids to almost be perfect? So, using medical technology to modify genetics would completely change humans by social impact. Which that includes education and being prepared for the work environment, and also it can help with any medical conditions. So genetic modification is a process which doesn't take more than a week to perform. So for the scientists, it would only take them a week in order to find how they can help that certain individual. So I just want to tell you a little bit of what it is. So genetic modification has been studied by many scientists and has determined that it isn't such a complicated procedure. So a simple way to explain this is explained in the article National Human Genome Research Institute by David Bowden, and he states, genetic engineering is a process of using recombination DNA technology to alter the genetic makeup of any organism. So, with this being said, this is basically taking a mutation of a gene. For example, we could use BRCA1, which is the carrier of cancer, and we can replace BRCA1, the one that's already the carrier of cancer, with a BRCA1, but this BRCA1 would be a healthy one, which we would modically change it. So with this, it means that, so technically, like, the process is, like, I'm going to use the example of a broken car. If your car has a broken engine, for example, you go take it to a shop, and they get a new engine, a good engine, and then they replace it. So it's technically the same thing. They remove the genes that aren't good genes or that are carriers of certain diseases, and then they put a good gene that will have no carrier for anything. So now that you know a little bit of the process, I will talk about how it will help society. So first of all, it will help society with education. So students getting an education is very important for everybody, and is very crucial for those kids to have a successful life. In the article, College Dropout Rates by Jelisa Bustamante, she states, the overall dropout rates for undergraduate college students is 40%. So if we can modify genes and add intelligence to them, the future dropout rates will decrease because these students won't drop out anymore, because I know some students drop out because they feel they're not smart or because they feel as if college isn't meant for them. So moving on, I'll talk about the work environment and how it will help. So if anyone gets an education, everyone will be able to get a well-paid job, which will help the economy. In the article, lack of higher education, they state, surveys conducted in 28 countries worldwide in 2012 to 2013, they study highlights that having the highest level of education serves as a fairly dependable guarantee towards securing a formal job. So this means that if you have a degree, if you go, you study, you get your education, you get your degree, you're guaranteed, almost guaranteed, a good, stable job. Another good film that I recommend everybody to watch is the film Gattaca by Andrew Nicole. In this film, it's kind of like they explain what's actually happening with genetic modification, and they show how there's like the valid people, that's how they're called. That's how they're viewed. And they're viewed as like smart people. They're capable of doing anything, and they're also healthy. So these are the genetic engineered people. The ones that are viewed as smart, and they're capable of getting any job, any position they want. And then those are considered valid people, and the naturally conceived people are viewed as the complete opposite of a genetic engineered person, which the naturally conceived are viewed as weak, they're not healthy, and they're also not capable of getting a job. The highest job they can get is, like, for example, being a custodian at a certain place. So, with modification of genes, no one will have a higher advantage than somebody else because we will all be healthy and capable of working anywhere we want with an education. So, genetic engineering can help prevent diseases such as blindness and autism, just to say some. So, some people may argue that these diseases can be controlled with medicine, and yes, they could be controlled with medicine, but these diseases may only just be controlled, but they will never really cure from the disease, because there's no medication that can cure those diseases. So therefore, by using medical technology, we can somehow stop having people being born with medical conditions, such as autism. Genetic modification can be the solution to many of the problems the world has now. We will have offspring with no medical conditions and on the way to a better job. Be able to work anywhere we want because we all have an education. So, genetic engineering can help prevent diseases such as blindness and autism, just to say some. Some people may argue that these diseases can be controlled with certain medications, and yes, some medications are used to control these diseases, but that's the thing, that they're only being controlled. There's not really a cure. There's no medication that can cure them from, let's say, autism. So by using medical technology, we can somehow stop having people being born with autism, blindness, or with any medical condition. Modification can be the solution to many of the problems the world has now, starting with having offspring with no type of medical condition and on the way to a better job. So let's create a better world for our future with genetic engineering.